For centuries, the Amazon rainforest has been held in our collective imagination as Earth's last great wilderness, a realm untamed, untouched by the sprawling complexities of human civilization. A vast, verdant lung, pulsating with life, yet believed to be largely devoid of grand, ancient cities. That belief, a bedrock of archaeological understanding, is now being spectacularly, breathtakingly shattered. From the shadows beneath its dense canopy, cutting-edge satellite imagery, LiDAR technology, and tireless expeditions are unearthing an astonishing truth. This was once home to sprawling, sophisticated urban centers. Not just scattered villages, but vast networks of interconnected settlements, meticulously planned, engineered with an understanding of nature that utterly defies our modern assumptions. These are Amazon's lost garden cities. They were not built against nature, but with it, sophisticated metropolises where advanced agroforestry, intricate water management, and ingenious soil creation forged a harmonious coexistence. Their residents, long dismissed as primitive, possessed a profound wisdom, designing urban systems that thrived for centuries, even millennia, without depleting their environment. As our own world grapples with accelerating climate change, dwindling resources, and the urgent need for sustainable urban models, these forgotten civilizations offer more than just historical intrigue. They present an ancient blueprint, a radical paradigm shift that could genuinely outsmart many of today's ambitious, yet often flawed, eco-city designs. This documentary will journey deep into the heart of this ancient ingenuity, revealing how these ancestral masters lived in perfect balance, offering profound lessons for our future urban living. For centuries, the very name Amazon conjured images of an untamed, primeval wilderness, a vast green ocean of trees, impenetrable and indifferent, sprawling across a continent. It was seen as the last great frontier, a green hell, beautiful, terrifying, and ultimately unconquerable by any civilization seeking to build lasting settlements. European explorers, gazing upon its bewildering scale and perceived infertility, concluded that the Amazon simply could not sustain large, complex societies. How could cities thrive where the very soil seemed to fight against human endeavor, rapidly reclaiming any clearing with an relentless emerald tide? The narrative was fixed. The Amazon was a pristine, untouched realm, its indigenous inhabitants living in small, nomadic groups at one with nature, but far from building urban centers. This perception wasn't just a casual observation. It became an accepted scientific dogma, reinforced by early 20th century anthropologists and geographers. They pointed to the thin, nutrient-poor soils, a consequence of heavy rainfall washing away vital minerals, as a fundamental barrier to large-scale agriculture, and thus to urban development. The sheer logistical nightmare of clearing and maintaining vast tracts of land against the relentless jungle growth seemed insurmountable. Therefore, any archaeological finds, a fragment of pottery here, a raised mound there, were often dismissed as anomalies, the fleeting remnants of small, temporary settlements, incapable of challenging the grand narrative of the Amazon as an enduring wilderness. The idea of millions of people living in sophisticated, organized communities, building monumental structures, and shaping the landscape, was not just improbable. It was considered impossible. The jungle, it was believed, was simply too powerful, too wild, to be tamed by human ambition. Yet beneath that verdant veil, hidden for centuries, lay secrets that would shatter this long-held myth, secrets that spoke of ingenuity, sustainability, and a different kind of urbanism, one that offers startling lessons for our future. Despite the prevailing scientific consensus, not everyone accepted the pristine myth at face value. For generations, the indigenous peoples of the Amazon themselves held a different truth, a truth woven into their oral traditions and ancestral memories. They spoke of cities of the past, of powerful ancestors who sculpted the earth, creating vast networks and fertile lands. These were not mere campfire stories. They were echoes of a sophisticated past, passed down through millennia. Yet, these invaluable insights were largely dismissed, seen as mere folklore, not historical fact, by the dominant Western gaze. But then, there were the adventurous few whose insatiable curiosity led them to question the established narrative. Men like Percy Fawcett, the enigmatic British explorer whose obsession with a lost city, his legendary, led him deep into the Mato Grosso in the early 20th century, never to return. While his quest ended in mystery, his belief in a vast, hidden civilization fueled imaginations and hinted at possibilities beyond the known. Others encountered peculiar earthworks, geometric mounds, raised fields, and complex patterns carved into the landscape that seemed too precise, too extensive to be natural formations. Early archaeologists, equipped with rudimentary tools and limited perspectives, would occasionally stumble upon these anomalies or find pottery shards of unusual complexity and abundance. But without the context, without the technological means to see the bigger picture, these clues were often cataloged as isolated curiosities, easily overlooked or attributed to transient populations. The dense, unforgiving jungle acted as nature's ultimate shroud, obscuring the true scale and interconnectedness of these subtle hints. Each whisper, each fragmented artifact, was a tiny crack in the monolithic myth, waiting for the right moment and the right tools to reveal the epic story hidden beneath. For centuries, the Amazon's vast canopy was its ultimate protector, a verdant blanket that swallowed all evidence of ancient human endeavor. From the ground, even monumental structures could be just another overgrown hill. From the air, only an unbroken sea of green. How could archaeologists possibly map sprawling cities hidden beneath 60 to 90 meters of dense foliage? The challenge was insurmountable until recently. The true scale of Amazonian civilizations remained largely hidden, a ghost locked within the jungle's embrace, until humanity developed a revolutionary way to see through the impossible: light detection and ranging, or LiDAR. LiDAR is a game changer. Imagine strapping a sophisticated laser scanner to an aircraft, flying systematically over the Amazon. This scanner emits millions of laser pulses every second, sweeping across the terrain. While most pulses hit the leaves and branches, a crucial few find their way through the gaps in the canopy, reaching the forest floor. These pulses then bounce back to the sensor. By precisely measuring the time it takes for each laser pulse to return and knowing the aircraft's exact position, scientists can create an incredibly detailed, three-dimensional map of the ground beneath the trees. It effectively strips away the vegetation, revealing the true topography, including subtle human modifications that have been obscured for millennia. Earthworks that once appeared as natural undulations suddenly emerge as perfectly straight roads, defensive walls, monumental plazas, and complex agricultural systems. What was once invisible becomes strikingly clear, transforming our understanding of what lies beneath. LiDAR didn't just provide clues. It delivered entire blueprints, revealing intricate urban landscapes far beyond the wildest dreams of early explorers and finally validating the ancient whispers. It opened a window not just into the past, but into a future where technology unravels history's deepest secrets, proving that the Amazon was anything but an untouched wilderness. The promise of LiDAR was soon realized in spectacular fashion. In the vast, seasonally flooded grasslands of the Llanos de Moxos in Bolivia, an area previously thought too challenging to sustain large-scale, permanent settlements. The first truly groundbreaking LiDAR-confirmed discovery shattered the pristine myth definitively. Here, stretching across an incredible 4,500 square kilometers, lay the sophisticated urban network of the Kasserab culture. First identified in detail in 2022, archaeological surveys, spearheaded by the German Archaeological Institute, utilizing LiDAR technology, unveiled a lost world thriving between 500 and 1400 AD. What they found was not just a few scattered villages, but a hierarchical system of settlements featuring large ceremonial centers and smaller surrounding towns, all meticulously interconnected. These Khosrabe cities were not built with stone, but sculpted from the earth itself. The LiDAR data revealed monumental terrace platforms, some reaching over 20 meters high and spanning hundreds of meters, crowned with U-shaped structures and rectangular enclosures. Crucially, these centers were linked by an intricate web of straight causeways, up to 10 kilometers long, radiating outwards like spokes from a wheel, connecting settlements and leading to vast, artificial reservoirs and carefully managed canals. These hydrological feats allowed the Khosrabe people to control the seasonal floodwaters, turning a challenging environment into a productive landscape. This wasn't merely adapting to nature. It was an active, intelligent redesign of their world. The discovery of the Khosrabe culture proved, unequivocally, that vast, complex urbanism not only existed in the Amazon, but it flourished, demonstrating an unparalleled mastery of environmental engineering. It was a civilization that reshaped its environment to create a thriving home, a testament to human ingenuity hidden beneath the earth for centuries, now brought to light by the eyes in the sky. Just as the world was coming to grips with the scale of the Khosrabe civilization, another, even older and more sprawling revelation emerged from a dramatically different corner of the Amazon. In Ecuador's Upano Valley, nestled in the Andean foothills, archaeologist Stephen Roston and his team unveiled a discovery that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible for ancient Amazonian urbanism. First explored by Roston decades ago, the full extent of this monumental achievement only became clear with the application of LiDAR technology in 2024. What LiDAR revealed was not just a few isolated settlements, but a vast, integrated urban landscape stretching for an astounding 300 square kilometers. This was a true metropolis, a network of at least 15 large sites and numerous smaller ones, meticulously connected by a dense lattice of remarkably straight roads and pathways, some extending for up to 25 kilometers. Imagine a carefully planned urban fabric existing in the Amazon between 500 BC and 300 to 600 AD, flourishing for over 800 years, a timeline that predates most known urban centers in the Americas. The Upano sites featured hundreds of monumental rectangular platforms, arranged around central plazas, used for residential, ceremonial, and agricultural purposes. Surrounding these platforms were intricate drainage systems and agricultural terraces, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of land management. This was a society that had not merely adapted to the jungle. It had fundamentally engineered it, creating a thriving human ecosystem on a scale previously unimaginable. The Upano Valley discovery is a landmark moment, fundamentally reshaping our understanding of pre-Columbian Amazonia. It proves that dense, complex, and long-lasting urbanism was not an exception, but a vibrant reality, a testament to the sheer ambition and organizational prowess of civilizations that chose to build their enduring legacy within the very heart of the rainforest. These lost garden cities of the Amazon, from the Khosrabe culture in Bolivia to the Upano metropolis in Ecuador, were not haphazard collections of dwellings. Far from it. They represent a revolutionary paradigm of urban planning, a blueprint that actively defied modern notions of human-nature separation. Their designs were not just functional. They were profoundly integrated, a symbiotic dance between human ingenuity and ecological wisdom. At the heart of these settlements lay a systematic approach to design. The Upano sites, for example, featured wide, arrow-straight roads, sometimes stretching for miles, connecting major settlements and smaller villages. These thoroughfares weren't just for movement. They served as critical arteries for communication, trade, and possibly even ceremonial processions. Alongside these roads, and within the urban centers themselves, LiDAR has revealed carefully arranged clusters of residential platforms, often rectangular or U-shaped, built atop mounds to protect against seasonal flooding. Surrounding these living spaces were public plazas, open areas likely used for gatherings, markets, and ceremonies, demonstrating a clear understanding of communal space. But perhaps most striking is the sophisticated hydraulic engineering. The Kasare culture, in particular, crafted vast networks of canals, dikes, and reservoirs to manage the Llanos de Moxo's extreme wet and dry seasons, ensuring both defense and year-round agricultural productivity. They created what archaeologists call polder fields, raised earth beds for cultivation, expertly designed to drain excess water and retain moisture during droughts. Unlike modern urban sprawl that often carves out nature, these ancient cities were meticulously integrated with their environment. Their layouts suggest a deep respect for the land, a design philosophy where infrastructure and nature worked in concert, creating resilient and sustainable urban ecosystems. They were, in essence, truly garden cities, living testaments to an urbanism that saw humanity as part of the natural world, not apart from it. Beyond their impressive urban infrastructure, the true genius of these ancient Amazonian cultures extended right down to the very ground beneath their feet. One of their most extraordinary innovations was the deliberate creation of terra preta do Indio, or Amazonian dark earth. For centuries, the Amazon's native soil was notorious for its infertility, a thin, easily leached layer struggling to support intensive agriculture. Yet, within and around these rediscovered cities, vast pockets of incredibly rich, dark soil have been found, some extending to depths of 2 meters, remaining fertile for thousands of years. Terra preta is not a natural phenomenon. It is a meticulously engineered, man-made soil, a testament to ancient ecological wisdom. Analysis has revealed its unique composition, a blend of charcoal, pottery shards, bone fragments, and organic matter like plant residues and human waste, all carefully incorporated into the existing soil structure. The charcoal, especially, acts as a sponge, retaining nutrients and water, creating a stable, self-sustaining ecosystem for microorganisms that continually regenerate the soil's fertility. This wasn't just a composting technique. It was a profound transformation of the landscape, turning infertile land into a breadbasket capable of feeding dense populations year after year, for millennia, without the need for destructive slash-and-burn agriculture. Modern science is only now beginning to unravel the precise mechanisms behind terra preta's enduring fertility. Researchers are studying its unique microbial communities and stable carbon content, hoping to replicate its secrets to address contemporary challenges of soil degradation, food security, and carbon sequestration. The makers of Earth in the ancient Amazon didn't just build cities. They built living, breathing soil, creating a foundation for sustainable agriculture that outsmarted the environment's limitations. Their secret, locked away for centuries, holds the potential to revolutionize how we grow food and manage our land in the face of a changing climate. The ingenuity of the ancient Amazonians didn't stop at creating super-fertile soil. They understood that true sustainability lay in working with the jungle, not against it. Complementing their terra preta, these gardeners of the jungle practice sophisticated agroforestry, a revolutionary approach to food production that created highly productive and incredibly resilient food forests. While modern agriculture often clears vast tracts for monoculture, planting single crops in massive fields, the ancient Amazonians embraced biodiversity, mimicking the very structure of the rainforest itself. They didn't just plant corn in rows. They cultivated a diverse tapestry of useful plants across multiple layers, from root crops like manioc and sweet potatoes, to fruit trees bearing cacao, avocado, and acai, to medicinal plants and timber species. These food forests were not neat, ordered fields. They were dynamic, self-sustaining ecosystems where different species coexisted, supporting each other. The canopy layer provided shade, protecting understory plants from harsh sun and reducing water evaporation. Climbing vines utilized existing trees, adding another dimension of yield. Nitrogen-fixing plants naturally enriched the soil, while others deterred pests. This multi-layered approach maximized productivity per square meter, ensured food security through crop diversity, making them resilient against pests, diseases, and climate fluctuations, and maintained critical ecological functions, including biodiversity and carbon sequestration. This stands in stark contrast to the modern industrial agricultural model, which often leads to deforestation, soil depletion, and environmental vulnerability. The ancient Amazonians offer us a profound lesson that by understanding and collaborating with natural processes, rather than dominating them, humanity can create abundant food systems that not only sustain populations, but also regenerate the environment. Their lost garden cities were not just urban centers. They were integrated landscapes where human civilization and wild nature danced in harmony, offering a timeless blueprint for a future where we learn to live as true gardeners of our planet. For centuries, the Amazon's vastness was perceived as a realm of pristine, untouched wilderness, its soils famously infertile, unable to sustain complex societies. But the truth, now unearthed, reveals a profound agricultural secret: terra preta. These black earths are not natural occurrences, but a monumental legacy of ancient Amazonian ingenuity. Human-made soils, incredibly rich and fertile, teeming with life, and enduring for thousands of years. The core of this ancient miracle lies in biochar, charcoal purposefully added to the soil, creating a stable, porous structure that retains nutrients and moisture, fostering a microbial ecosystem unrivaled in natural soils. Today, as modern agriculture grapples with depleted soils, chemical dependency, and the imperative for sustainability, terra preta isn't just a historical curiosity. It's a direct, actionable blueprint. Across the globe, from the sun-drenched fields of California to the emerging economies of sub-Saharan Africa, scientists and farmers are locked in a new kind of gold rush, a race to unlock and replicate the secrets of this ancient Amazonian alchemy. Pioneers like Dr. Johannes Lehmann at Cornell University have dedicated decades to understanding the mechanisms of biochar, proving its immense potential to sequester carbon, enhance crop yields, and drastically reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers. In Brazil, research institutions like Embrapa are working directly with local communities, reviving ancestral knowledge and experimenting with biochar production from agricultural waste, transforming what would once be discarded into a powerful tool for soil regeneration. Imagine cities that don't just consume, but create fertile ground. Waste streams, organic matter, forestry byproducts are no longer problems, but resources for producing biochar. This isn't just about boosting food production. It's about a radical shift in waste management, turning urban refuse into an ecological asset. By relearning how to build soil, we don't just feed our populations. We actively restore ecosystems, lock carbon away, and build resilience against the unpredictable shifts of a changing climate. The Amazon's lost cities didn't just survive. They thrived by understanding the very foundation of life, the soil. And in that understanding lies a vital lesson for our future, proving that some of the most cutting-edge solutions are, in fact, ancient wisdom rediscovered. From the fertile embrace of terra preta, a new vision blossoms for our concrete jungles. The ancient Amazonian garden cities didn't just have rich soil. They were meticulously designed, living tapestries where agriculture wasn't relegated to distant fields, but woven directly into the urban fabric. These were cities as food forests, vast, productive ecosystems where diverse crops, fruit trees, medicinal plants, and timber species grew in harmonious layers, sustaining millions. They practiced agroforestry on an unprecedented urban scale, creating a resilient, biodiverse food system that provided nourishment, shade, and a constant connection to nature for their inhabitants. Today, as global food supply chains falter and urban populations swell, the ancient Amazonian model offers a radical alternative to the conventional city plan. Imagine a modern metropolis not merely green with decorative parks, but truly productive. Think of multi-story buildings adorned not just with facades, but with vertical farms, their yields feeding local markets. Rooftops transformed into community gardens and orchards, fostering social cohesion and providing fresh produce. Public spaces, once barren plazas, reborn as edible landscapes, where citizens can forage and connect with their food source. This isn't a utopian fantasy. It's a tangible blueprint inspired by thousands of years of successful practice. Architects and urban planners like Stefano Boeri, with his vertical forest concepts, are already pushing boundaries, but the Amazonian lesson goes deeper than aesthetics. It's about integrating food production, biodiversity, and ecological services into every aspect of urban design. Consider cities like Singapore already pioneering urban agriculture, but imagine taking it further, not just producing food, but restoring microclimates, enhancing air quality, and supporting local wildlife populations. This is permaculture on a civic scale, transforming our cities from energy-intensive consumers into self-sustaining, regenerative hubs. The journey from ancient Amazonian ingenuity to our future urban landscape is a powerful testament to the idea that a city can be a thriving ecosystem, a place where concrete meets canopy, and where the bounty of the earth is never more than a few steps away. Just as the ancient Amazonians mastered the soil and transformed their landscapes into food forests, they also perfected the art of living with water, a resource both life-giving and destructive in the vast, seasonally flooded Amazon basin. Their cities were not simply built on the land, but with the water. They developed sophisticated systems of raised fields, canals, reservoirs, and intricate terracing, not just for irrigation, but for managing the dramatic fluctuations of the Amazon's rivers, capturing rainfall during deluges and storing it for extended dry periods. This mastery of water, a symphony of engineering and ecological understanding, offers profound lessons as our planet grapples with increasingly extreme weather events. In our modern world, urban centers are often built against water, leading to devastating floods in one season and crippling droughts in the next. Climate change amplifies these challenges, making the Amazonian wisdom critically relevant. Imagine our cities engineered to mimic natural hydrological cycles. Instead of concrete channeling rainwater into overwhelmed storm drains, permeable surfaces, rain gardens, and bioswales absorb and filter precipitation, recharging groundwater and reducing flood risk. Ancient reservoirs, adapted, could become distributed water storage networks, supplying communities during droughts, much like the sophisticated cisterns and ponds found in archaeological sites like those within the Llanos de Mojos region. This isn't about grand, monolithic dams, but decentralized, nature-based solutions. It's about designing every street, every park, every building to be a part of the city's living water system. From large-scale urban wetlands that purify water and prevent flooding, to individual homes equipped with rainwater harvesting systems for graywater reuse, the principles are clear. Respect the natural flow, capture what falls, and store what's needed. The Lost Garden cities reveal that resilience against nature's extremes doesn't come from brute force, but from intelligent, harmonious coexistence. By learning to dance with water rather than fight it, we can design cities that are not just safe, but thriving, even in the face of changing climate. Beyond the impressive infrastructure of terra preta, food forests, and water management, the true genius of the Amazon's Lost Garden cities might lie in their less tangible, yet equally vital dimension: human connection. These were not sprawling, anonymous megalopolises, but likely human-scale settlements, designed to foster strong community bonds and a profound connection to place. Archaeological evidence, though still emerging, suggests interconnected clusters of dwellings, communal spaces, and pathways that prioritize pedestrian movement, social interaction, and shared resources. Imagine settlements where every resident felt a part of a larger, cohesive whole, where daily life naturally facilitated interaction and mutual support. In stark contrast, many modern cities, designed for automobiles and economic efficiency, often isolate us. Towers of glass and steel rise, but genuine human connection can dwindle. The Amazonian blueprint offers a powerful antidote: a return to human-scale urbanism. This isn't about romanticizing the past, but applying its core principles. Think of 15-minute cities, where all essential services, green spaces, and community hubs are accessible within a short walk or bike ride. Envision public spaces designed not just for transit, but for lingering, for spontaneous encounters, for shared cultural experiences. Reclaiming streets from cars to create vibrant pedestrian zones, bustling marketplaces, and community gathering points. These aren't just amenities. They're the arteries of social cohesion, vital for mental well-being and civic engagement. From the narrow, meandering paths that linked ancient Amazonian households to the central plazas where ceremonies and markets thrived, the message is clear. The physical layout of our cities profoundly shapes our relationships. By prioritizing walkable neighborhoods, accessible green spaces, and shared infrastructure for food and water, we can cultivate cities that are not only ecologically sound but also socially vibrant and truly livable. The Lost Garden cities remind us that a sustainable future isn't just about what we build, but how we live together within those builds, fostering connection, rootedness, and a sense of shared belonging. The breathtaking discoveries of Amazon's Lost Garden cities shatter a long-held Western bias. The notion of the Amazon as an untamed wilderness, untouched by complex human civilizations. For centuries, Western science dismissed indigenous narratives of ancient cities and advanced ecological practices as myth, attributing features like terra preta to natural processes. But the spade of the archaeologist, coupled with remote sensing technology, has unequivocally proven what indigenous communities have known all along. Their ancestors were master builders, profound ecologists, and sophisticated urban planners. This revelation underscores a critical truth. Indigenous knowledge systems, often marginalized or overlooked, are not merely folklore. They're treasure troves of practical wisdom, honed over millennia of intimate coexistence with specific ecosystems. Consider the resilience of indigenous communities across the Amazon today, many of whom are direct descendants of these ancient city builders. Their deep understanding of forest dynamics, sustainable harvesting techniques, fire management, and plant diversity represents an unparalleled body of ecological intelligence. Where Western science often isolates variables, indigenous knowledge embraces holistic, interconnected systems. It sees the forest not as a collection of individual trees, but as a complex web of relationships, where human actions are inextricably linked to ecological health. For example, traditional agroforestry practices, often dismissed as primitive, are now recognized as highly sophisticated methods for maintaining biodiversity and food security, directly mirroring the principles we see in the ancient garden cities. As we face unprecedented global challenges, climate change, biodiversity loss, resource depletion, the need to value and integrate ancestral ecological stewardship has never been more urgent. The lost cities are a powerful reminder that some of the most profound solutions don't come from new technologies alone, but from listening to and collaborating with those who have lived sustainably with nature for generations. It's an invitation to bridge the gap between scientific inquiry and traditional wisdom, to recognize indigenous communities not just as stewards of vital lands, but as invaluable guides toward a truly sustainable future. Their knowledge is not just about the past. It's a living, breathing blueprint for how humanity can thrive in harmony with the natural world. The unveiling of Amazon's Lost Garden cities represents an extraordinary scientific triumph, but also carries immense ethical responsibilities. These aren't just ancient ruins. They are sacred landscapes, ancestral homelands, and living cultural heritage for indigenous peoples across the Amazon. The drive for discovery, for knowledge, must be balanced with a profound commitment to preservation, respecting indigenous land rights, and fostering genuine, equitable partnerships with local communities. This is an imperative that transcends mere archaeology. It speaks to justice, decolonization, and the very future of how we engage with the past. Tragically, the Amazon remains under immense pressure from deforestation, illegal mining, and agricultural expansion. Many of these newly discovered sites lie vulnerable, some already threatened by encroaching destructive activities. The first ethical step is rigorous protection, ensuring these invaluable historical landscapes are preserved for future generations, not just for study, but as cultural anchors for their descendants. This means supporting indigenous land tenure, recognizing their inherent rights to manage and protect their territories, which often overlap with these archaeological treasures. International collaborations involving governments, NGOs, and academic institutions must prioritize safeguarding these sites, often in remote and challenging terrains. Crucially, partnerships must be built on trust and mutual respect. Indigenous communities must be central to every stage of research, interpretation, and conservation. Their traditional knowledge is not just a source of information. It's an intellectual property, a worldview, and a lived experience that offers invaluable insights into these sites and their original purpose. This means moving beyond a model where researchers extract data towards one where indigenous voices lead, where research benefits local communities directly, and where their cultural narratives are given primacy. The lost cities demand that we approach history with humility and integrity, understanding that true progress is achieved not through singular discovery, but through collective stewardship and deep, enduring partnerships that honor both the past and the present guardians of these extraordinary legacies. The journey through Amazon's lost garden cities has revealed more than just ancient ruins. It has unearthed a profound and vital blueprint for humanity's future. From the enduring fertility of terra preta to the integrated food forests, the ingenious water management, and the human-scaled communities, these long-hidden metropolises offer a radical vision: regenerative urbanism. This isn't just about minimizing our impact or being less bad for the planet. It's about actively restoring ecosystems, fostering symbiotic relationships between humans and nature, and designing cities that are truly good for the Earth and its inhabitants. Imagine a future where our urban centers are not ecological liabilities, but ecological assets. Cities that don't just reduce carbon emissions, but actively sequester carbon in their living soils and sprawling biomass. Cities that don't just conserve water, but cleanse and replenish it. Cities that don't just consume resources, but cyclically produce them, transforming waste into new life. This is the promise of regenerative urbanism, directly inspired by the enduring wisdom of the ancient Amazonians. It's a call to move beyond mere sustainability, which often implies maintaining the status quo, toward the dynamic process of continuous renewal and flourishing. This blueprint invites us to fundamentally rethink our relationship with the built environment. It challenges urban planners, architects, policymakers, and citizens alike to embrace a holistic vision where infrastructure is integrated with natural systems, where food security is local and abundant, where social bonds are strengthened by design, and where every act of construction is also an act of ecological restoration. The Amazon's lost garden cities stand as monumental proof that it is not only possible, but entirely practical to create complex, thriving human societies that enrich, rather than deplete, their natural surroundings. They beckon us towards a future where our cities are not just places of human endeavor, but vibrant, living ecosystems, monuments to human ingenuity, yes, but more importantly, testaments to our ability to live in profound and enduring harmony with the planet. The future of our cities, perhaps the future of humanity, lies in remembering the wisdom of those who built gardens in the heart of the Amazon. The journey through Amazon's lost garden cities has revealed an extraordinary truth. Beneath the veil of an assumed wilderness lay urban marvels, vibrant and resilient for centuries. We've witnessed the profound ingenuity of ancient Amazonians who didn't conquer nature, but partnered with it, creating truly sustainable and enduring urban environments. Their mastery of terra preta soil creation, the sophisticated interweaving of agroforestry systems, and their revolutionary water management techniques weren't mere survival tactics. They were blueprints for thriving. These ancient solutions, born from deep ecological understanding, undeniably outsmart many of our contemporary attempts at green architecture and eco-city planning, often demonstrating a more holistic and successful integration with natural systems. This ancestral wisdom isn't just a historical curiosity. It's a profound challenge and a beacon of hope for our future. By embracing these timeless principles, and critically, by partnering with the invaluable living knowledge of indigenous communities today, we can envision a radical transformation of our urban landscapes. Imagine cities that are not merely carbon neutral, but carbon positive, living, breathing ecosystems that give back more than they take. The path forward demands urgent research, ethical engagement, and a fundamental rethinking of what a city can truly be. The lost cities of the Amazon beckon us to remember. Our most advanced future may lie in our deepest past.